Peace, love, and light, everybody. Hope y'all doing alright. Man, I just want to do another little video today. Uh, Islamism to all the Moors and Moabites out there, the Moabites and everybody else, all the universal family, everybody who tied in and connected. Um, Hope y'all having a good day. Sitting up and doing this video. I'm actually testing out Windows Movie Maker because it has a screen share property. And I was doing my videos like on Zoom and stuff, but I'm sitting up here thinking like maybe I can do it on Movie Maker. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna record it, and of course I can edit it and add the clips, and I can kind of do it how I want to do it. So I'm just kind of testing it out, really. But I'm gonna make this a video too. And I kind of want to speak on my rate of development. Like how I came into this stuff. Just through my life experiences and stuff like that. Uh, Things of that nature. You know, everybody, it's the whole little ship that they put us on, and when they say that, they had the slaves on the ship called Jesus or whatever. You know, when I think about ships, I think about a mental ship, like a mental ship. Like people have a mentorship. Where they're mentoring somebody. You coming aboard and they administering certain information to you to help you for your development, so you can kind of guide yourself and structure yourself the way you need to. You know, so I started off like that as a Christian because that's the ship they started us off on. You know what I'm saying? We come onto the land, get through back in the water, type of deal. And like I said, I started off Christian and stuff like that. That's what they say we was, but of course I was. Everybody that been through that phase and broke out of, that was just like a stage of development. That's one of the first things. So, I went through that, as a kid, probably like 7, like 10, 11, going to church every other Sunday when I go to my grandma's house. Listening to the word, basic stuff, what I'm saying? Then, you get hip to stuff like, as you get older, like 18, 19 years old and shit like that, you start to read the Bible for yourself outside what the pastor's saying. Just like anybody else. You know, you you get to reading the Bible and things of that nature. You read it for yourself. You get to seeing stuff for what it is. You're not really that in tune. Some leads you to it. You get to asking questions, of course. But I used to always listen to like what they just say in church and stuff of that nature. And I got to a point where I had got to a point when I was a certain age, I got to watching videos and stuff, like on the Illuminati and how a lot of artists and entertainers is like part of like this satanic cult. And that right there is what like broke my spirituality in. Right? That right there is what did it. So, that went how that went. I got to watching videos and stuff, looking up all type of stuff. Illuminati exposed this video, the symbolism in this video and all that stuff. And that shit sent me off into a different type of loop. Me being a Virgo, I'm curious, so I'm following the rabbit hole anyway, not the rat hole, the rabbit hole. I'm trying to, follow everything, see what's what, do my own research, and that right there broke me in a different type of way. So years went by, I kept doing the same thing. I started getting into that stuff when I was like 17, 18 years old. I'm like 30 years old now. And so, I'm a typical kid. I just graduated high school. It was a situation happened after I graduated. I worked at a job and the store had got robbed. We got held at gunpoint. I got held at gunpoint. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared of the motherfucker. But in some sense, I was good. It's kind of like I was protected and whatever. And this is like when I graduated. I graduated like May 28, 2009 from Central High School down here in Little Rock. I went to Fair from like 2005 to '07. Then I transferred to Ascension, and that was kind of a change because when I went to Fair, kind of in the struggling phase. My mom was in the she was incarcerated, due to doing some things, or however you want to put it, based off being stubborn and you know. Well, we ain't gonna get so deep into that, but that's what was going on with me though. You know what I'm saying? That's what I had going on. And, so in that phase, I was just a regular kid, as I say, because like my mom was like I say in and out the county, um, not the county, but she was locked down like in the penitentiary. Eventually, she ended up going to the feds and stuff like that. And that right there, that was weighing in on me. But in that time, I started getting more in tune and reading up on stuff, and that kind of pushed me off into the deep end. Being fueled by that, knowing like, okay, well, look, man, my mom ain't here. You miss your mom and shit, cause you used to that. If you come up in that family structure, then you know what type of impact it can have. You know what I'm saying? She started getting into like a lot of trouble, and so with that being said, we was staying with another lady. I ain't gonna mention her name. It was somebody my dad was dealing with. She was this is like when I went to this when I was at Central around this time. I ain't gonna get jump too deep. We was staying with this lady, and I had a friend's house I used to go over all the time named James, and I used to hang out with him and stuff like that. We used to play video games, watch anime, all that type of stuff. So my imagination well seasoned. You know what I'm saying? It's well seasoned. So when I was, when I hung out, we used to, look into all that stuff, research certain stuff, watch certain movies, things of that nature. And that kind of broke me in, you know what I'm saying, into the information realm and put my mind, working my imagination when you watch anime and stuff like that. Because a lot of those Asian cartoons got a lot of symbolism in them and things of that nature. And, it kind of give you some ideas, but at that time you're not sitting up here thinking like, man, this stuff gotta mean something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just watching it as, just because you're bored, you're a kid, y'all playing, y'all trying to kill time, you play, you get tired playing video games and stuff like that. You get to watch anime, stuff like that. So, that right doing that little period of time, my imagination was open. But back to the Illuminati stuff and all that and that nature, that pushed me into the spiritual side. It had me reading the Bible on my own, looking deep into it. I had a situation. I was isolated for a period of time, and this is like I was like 19. I was isolated for a period of time, and I started reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I got to reading it deeply. I got to, I went from reading a few scriptures to a few chapters to more chapters to a whole book a day. And, I'm dabbling in it. I'm reading the whole Bible. Like, I'm not, I ain't got no pastor to tell me like, oh yeah, go home, do this, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Because my church phase is more so when I was young, like, anywhere from like 8 to 12 or 11, as I say. Because, that's when we used to go to our granny house. She stayed down in the projects, in the East End or whatever. We used to go down there, and that'll be the time that we'll go to church, and we'll go to that church on Calhoun Street. It was called, what was the name of that church? It's right on Calhoun, though. It's like, it's a small church. Can't think of the name of it right. It'll probably come to me later. But I used to go to that church and things of that nature. And, You know, you go to church, you know, you just get, you got those small family churches and you got them big churches. And I used to notice it was a difference. Like the family churches seem like they kind of more cared. And a lot of times you do stuff as a family, that's the best way. And I'm speaking on this because, people got so far away from religion and things of that nature. Now, I understand that Christianity and all that is not our religion. You see, I got the Circle 7 right here pulled up. I just got it right here pulled up because I'm going to just, speak on those tools and things. But, it's not our religion, but once you understand, when your mind migrates out of that Bible and you go looking into other things, and for a long, long period of time, you can start thinking back on stuff, putting stuff together once you reach a certain peak of level of enlightenment, self-enlightenment at that, because, you're reading for yourself. So it's like, okay, all right. So we got this here going, and I'm sitting up here, reading. Like I say, I'm not in church now or whatever, but I still noticed that the small churches, they was more, had more structure than the big church where it seemed like it was just a show. But I say all that to say, a lot of times when you go to church, a lot of people don't read the Bible unless the pastor is giving them some, some homework or giving them something to read on some Bible study stuff when they get home. A lot of people don't. So when you're in a period of isolation and you know what I'm saying, and you sitting there reading, uh, it's different. It hit different because you come across certain scriptures in the Bible, you get to underlining them, you get to circling them, and that's what I was doing. And so as years went by, you know, after reading the Bible, is how I did. I started getting a good little foundation of knowing what certain stories in there and what happened. Like the situation with King David, Nebuchadnezzar, the wars and stuff like that. And then just some of everything. You got a lot of the Solomon story. The laws of God, like in Leviticus and Deuteronomy and things of that nature. Just all those things. Then you get to a point where you get to reading the Bible, and you get to understand it from a free spiritual standpoint, right? So I used to have these little times, man, where when I read the Bible and I could be sitting in. This is like when I was probably in my early 20s. I'm still in North Little Rock. This is those years when I got old. I read the Bible. I'd be at the house early in the morning. I read a few scriptures or whatever. If I want to put my mind on that. And man, I go out. Probably by noon, handle my business, do what I need to do, get out there, move around, things of that nature. Then, what I'm saying, you might just randomly have a conversation with a random person about something out of nowhere. Y'all might just be sitting down. Y'all might be sitting down at the bus. You know what I'm saying? Like at the bus stop waiting on the bus, and then y'all just get to talking about certain situations. And then, the Bible, y'all, you might sit there and, you know, get to talking, a Bible scripture. Y'all might mention a certain Bible scripture. You know what I'm saying? Comparing that Bible scripture to a certain situation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like young, so this person might be like 50, 60. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, yeah, man, I just read that the other day. You know? And they'd be like, dang, that's kind of like some universal confirmation, because it's like what's the chance of me like reading something out the Bible, right? And then all of a sudden, you just get out, get to moving around, go handle your business. You might go to the bus, you might go to the library, or whatever the case may be. You might go out, sell incense, things of that nature. So it's like, and then you run into some people and y'all start talking, and then y'all mention certain Bible scriptures and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, all right. So, you get to having that situation happen multiple times, like on different occasions. You know, you might get up, do, see, because if you like me, you're a routine. You got a daily routine. You might get up, go to work, or you might not have to go to work till 11, but you might get up. You might get up at 6 o'clock, cook your kids breakfast, have them out the door by 7:15, cause they might, you might 7:45. You can start bringing them to school because class don't start till 8:45. Then after that, you take them, you get them dropped off, you get them situated. You might go down to Starbucks, sit on your laptop for an hour, have a frappe or have a hot tea. You might smoke you a cigarette. You just, you got a routine going. So you get these routines going, and you run into different people, and you might run into somebody at your job who they're like a security guard, like I did. And I had this dude. He was kind of like a little mentorship, but he was breaking certain stuff down in the Bible, like like scriptures and certain things like that. But he was giving me a free, excuse me, excuse me, I spit. But giving me like a free, spirit point of view. All right, and when you sit there and you get to meeting these people, it's like, okay, so it's something in here. And you gotta understand, this is just me reading this on my own interpretation. This is not me going to church, listening to what the pastor say. And him, oh, well, y'all read this right here, you go home. This, and this. So it's like, okay, boom. So, all right. Time goes on, and you get to seeing things for what it is. So it's like, people sit here and they try to bash the Bible so fast. They don't even have no gift of discernment or interpretation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, because the prophet did say, dude, he said, Moors, do not throw your Bibles away, because we're going to use it to condemn the Europeans. Because if you understand, all the Europeans did was go steal from our ancient ancestors over there in ancient Egypt, or on all continents, or Kemet, or whatever you guys want to call it. That's where they went there. That's where they got all their information from. When they got to making all their deities and stuff like that. Of course, y'all know that. I mean, it's not disrespectful. It's not a diss record. It's just the truth. Like, it's just the truth. And so I say all that to say, when you understand that, and then you get into astrology, because people are so quick to say, "Oh my God, astrology is the devil." And I'm only talking about like people who like Christians and stuff. Right in my face. They. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, what are you doing? So I'm gonna say where I'm trying to go. Pull that up. It's coming up. It's about what it said now. One day the Europeans are going to lock food up in the warehouse, put soldiers around them to guard them, and you will go anywhere he says to go get something to eat. Put up a 90-day food supply. It's going to let you down. You're going to put up a 90-day food supply till your brothers come rescue you from the east. But I'm trying to go to where you see Italians have our blood. Mm-hmm. I ain't want to leave the Europeans here long enough just to teach you how to run a government. You gotta stay hydrated, man. Dun, dun, dun. The foreign language you need the most is Spanish. Prophecy 92. And I'm most definitely finna get into it because, bro, I come across a lot of Mexicans, man. I eat at they taco trucks and stuff when I try not to. I don't eat out, most certainly. Like what they is eating out, but I don't eat that fast food, that Masonic incorporated food that's they putting out here, putting together. But I'm looking for this prophecy right here, part two of the prophecy. But long story short, people are so quick to like knock that Bible that you can understand that if you read like I do, you understand that the prophet, or not the prophet, but you understand that that they got their stuff from our culture. And you can see a lot of stuff in their Bible. But a lot of people didn't even really have no spirituality when they was in church. They didn't have no sense of free spirituality. Like when you a Christian, people be like, well, I have a personal relationship with God. I don't have to go to church. Not knowing when we in that state of mind, when we in that state of mind, we we not knowing that the frequency of God is within us. All the stuff is within us. This is interesting. Okay, bro, Cook Place. The Europeans went to the Moroccan government and asked them for permission to come over here to America to develop this land, and they were given a 50-year mandate to do so. Then the Europeans went to an old sheik and asked him to give them some people to help them develop this land. The sheik told them to take those Moors because they are not going to do anything. Mm. But anyway, as I was saying, when you get to understanding this stuff, you get to realize you can see a lot of stuff in this Bible, and I'm finna jump into it. I'm not really in a rush. Say Europeans ain't gonna be able to hide all the wealth from the Moors. You get to understanding why. Probably say do a hobby and say free national name. Dude, I might have passed over. When you look for something so hard, you tend to look over it. But long story short, the prophet told us don't throw our Bibles away. And I'm going to tell you why when I get to reading up into it. I brought you something that you can shout about. It'll take 50 years to find out what I brought you, and if you're not careful, 50 years after I'm gone, you won't know that I have been here. That's why I think everybody who put this stuff out in the movement. He passed in 29, so that means about the 60s, early, so about the 70s. Right before the 70s, that's when shit started coming together. So those Moors that were with me 2,000 years ago are with me today. Those who were against 2,000 years ago are against me today. Europeans are not going to give up till you look death in the face. So do not throw your last slave names, your family, because we have a birthright up under them. I got to trying to look. I don't be giving up, y'all. I look for something I know I seen, and I keep looking it up. But if you don't, y'all understand, monsters are not made; they are born. Mm. So I could throw out a spirit that'll make the Moors want to fight, and I could throw out another spirit that'll bring them back to peace. Cause you get to understand how people be out here playing, this shit will get under your skin. And boy, look, yeah. But in the Bible, like I was saying about this Bible stuff, I got caught up in it. In the Bible, you get to read these scriptures. And you have to put your own discernment on it. It's at the same time the disciples came on to Jesus. You see that? I know it. I know it. He says it's hot out here. He ain't lying. My damn gas line jumped out. I gotta get ready to get my, while I'm sitting doing this video. Now, it said, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him and said in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye become converted and become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever shall have humbled himself as a little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name, receive me. But also, who shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone was hanging around his neck and that was drowned into the depth of the sea. Alright, woe to the world because of the offenses, for it needs the offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to the man by whom offense cometh. Alright. Now it said be humble as a little child. That means that you have to have a pure heart. Like you have to then and be a kid, like in spirit. Like, when people talk about people having traumas and having inner child, and you got some inner child you need to release out. When you grown and you can, because when you in that inner child, you could be in a happy state of mind, playful state of mind. That's positive energy. All right. So when you understand this stuff metaphysically, and because when you read the Bible, when coming up, you don't look at it. But when you get to understanding all these other things, you get to looking into astrology, you get to speak certain things out, understanding what he's saying. Said for where if it for thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into the life how or main rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye rather than having 2 eyes to be cast to the hell of fire. Don't let your eyes be blind by lust and materialism and greed, because a lot of people do that. And so what that is saying is, what it is, if you want to just put it in break it down some more, because if you read that Bible and you understand, like I do, then you know that Bible, you understand that Bible, okay, we're going, okay, I like that. I like how this going right there. You understand that Bible got, so it can say one thing and it can mean that one scripture, that one verse can mean a multitude of things. All right. If you got this female that you dealing with and she gonna cause you to lust every time you be around her, to tempt you to lust on her, you don't need to be around her. You need to cut her off. All right. I just went through a situation like that, and you know what I'm saying, shit, certain things sprung up. We ain't gonna get too deep into that, but it's that serious though. You know what I'm saying? If you hanging around these people that's gonna drag you into a lower vibration, you know that you drinking smoothies every day. You get if you don't want to eat nothing too heavy, you'll get you a tuna flatbread, or you'll eat you a salad every day or whatever. Okay. Now if you hanging around people that cook pork and shit like that, then they gonna tempt you to go outside your diet. Okay, you need to remove yourself from them. You need to remove yourself from that environment. Because the more deep you get into this spirituality, you get to understanding that, okay, you really got to just be to yourself. You have to real deal isolate yourself. You do. You got to. You got to isolate yourself. Dude, hold on. Check something. Because I got my laptop sitting a certain way. And I know when it bump, it'll mess with that mic. But yeah, it's serious. You get to realize that you just gotta isolate yourself. Alright? If you know you're gonna go over here and these people gonna be eating pork and they gonna be eating a lot of sugar and you trying to eat on a healthy plant-based diet, things of that nature, you don't need to be over there. Temptation come in more forms than just lust. It can be temptations of certain foods you trying to stop eating. You probably like damn Minute Maid juice, but you know that juice might got some chemicals in it or something. Or it's made with sugar and you trying to dodge the sugar. You trying to dodge your sugar consumption. You know what I'm saying? But you know it's cool though. Cause you know it's you ain't gonna always just eat 100% healthy. But I'm just giving examples though. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I'm only talking about people who run away, you know, from religion and stuff like that. I got to reading the Bible from this perspective before I got into the more science, temple information, and all that. I even got to looking into the Hebrew Israelites and stuff like that. But I had to realize that they was kind of, the way they was delivering it was not, some in my energy was subconsciously telling me like, that's not right, bro. How they delivering it is not it. Like some was telling me that. Some was telling me like, hey, that's not it. We not gonna get out here on it. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely took hold to that because it's like, man, look, I can't sit up here and just be bashing another ethnicity. Yeah, in a certain sense, they got a role in it, but we not gonna. They're having that victim mentality keep you trapped in your lower three chakras. When you don't accept stuff for what it is, get over it. You don't get over the hump. You're gonna forever be fighting hamster wheeling through them circles. I mean cycles. Excuse me. Well, circles too. Circles, cycles, similar, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's that serious. So when you read this stuff from that standpoint, you get to understand it. That's why I say like you get to understand that this is deeper than what somebody they try to tell you in church. Because you get to read stuff like this and you be like, okay, so why you don't read this scripture? Why you won't read Matthew 18:18? You know, stuff of that. You know, stuff like that. Verily I say to you, whatever so you shall bind on earth, you shall be bound in heaven. And whatever so you shall loose on earth, you shall be loosed in the heaven. Now, let me speak on that, because I remember that scripture by heart. When I had a certain situation, I was in the county for a little period of time, way back in the gap. And there was a pastor that came to me, and it's like all the scriptures that he was speaking on was free spiritual type scriptures. It's like he came there for me, like the universe sent him to get that message to me, relay that message to me. You see what I'm saying? Alright. It said, whatever you bind on earth, you shall be bound in heaven. Now, when I read that, I kind of get this universal perspective of like, want to say like, I kind of get this law of polarity feel when I look into that. But I also kind of get this feel of like, kind of like this law of correspondence or something when I read that scripture. Because it's like this. Let's put it like this. Let's use money for example, because you know a lot of people do shit based off these. It's not even really money. So let's say Federal Reserve notes. We're gonna keep this shit proper. Proper. A lot of people say money, or whatever, and things of that nature. Their problems revolve around their income. All right. It said the pendulum swing, everything manifests in the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. All right. When I read that scripture that I just read, Matthew 18:18, let me speak on it like this. If you're tight with your money, then that's how your money is going to come. I was just mentioning this to somebody the other day. If you're tight with how you spend your income, that's how your income is going to come in. Alright, we jumping in this Bible, and that's probably what I'm gonna name this. Let's jump in this Bible. We're gonna probably jump to some other things, but that's probably what I'm gonna title this. Alright. If you're loose with your money, that's how that's gonna come to you. If you're not worried about spending your money on things because you have so much faith that you know it's gonna come back, regardless if it come back whole or if it come back in chunks. That's how the universe gonna do it. This person won't even. He had faith in me and spent his whole on what he needed to do on his responsibilities. All right, let me bless him with a let's surprise him with a moving job where he gonna make 250 in 2 hours, and he probably gonna even be there the whole 2 hours. Let's send somebody to him that's gonna say, hey man, I got this job for him, and we gonna dump this on him because you took care of your business. And this is what the brother was that I was talking about that was in the security, that was security guard at the Kroger's I was working at. This is about 2014. He was telling me that. He was like, God come to him and say, man, Spence, he said, get that watch up. He gave that watch up, something else came through. He was talking about like the law of attraction. That's what I was looking for. You think about the law of attraction when you read Matthew 18:18. All right? That's what he was talking about. If God tell you to let it go and take care of it, don't worry about it. It's gonna come back, and it do. I see this a lot. I had days it be situations it seem like ain't shit going. So many hours go by in a day, and within a short period of time frame, shit get to popping out the sky. Boom. Hey, this, boom, 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 boom. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I say, and this is the perspective I had before I got into the Moore Science Temple. So when I get to get studying the Moore Science Temple information, I get to put in there. I get to look like it automatically, like it's like some scientific stuff going on in my brain. I read this and then boom, something will pop up in my head. Boom, that's what that is right there. Boom, you know what I'm saying? So it's like okay, so that's how it go, and that's what this stuff is all about. I'm trying to see how long I got to record. So that's why I tell people like you can just like people just like it's so many misconceptions out here about things. But at the same token, it's like people don't even try to like y'all wasn't even trying to read this stuff on y'all own before y'all got into this conscious community because it's like, and I gotta speak on this because it need to be spoke on. Y'all was so quick to run away from something. It's really almost like y'all don't really want to have no discipline in so many different ways, men and women both. It's almost like y'all don't want to have no discipline. When I sit up here and think on it, because all these spiritual laws and stuff is to keep the flesh in order and keep your mind, which is your spirit, fresh and energetic and not weighed down with doubts and fear and anxiety, depression and anger and all that. What 95 of the fucking population is fucking doing, or 85, however you want to put it. Even the small people who control things, they fucking blinded too, and that's what it is. And that's why I spoke on the money situation and compared it with the law of attraction with this right here, Matthew 18:18. You know what I'm saying? People don't because you have to apply this stuff. You have to exercise this stuff. All right. When you understand these laws, you have to exercise it. Put it on the treadmill. Put it at 10 pounds. See how many times you can lift that 10 pounds. All right. You the master this little 10 pounds. All right. Do 20. All right. It might take you a short amount of time to master these 20 pounds than you did these 10 pounds. You might can sneak up to 30. And then you get to working out them 30s for a second. You take a break, let your muscles build back up. That's how you got to exercise these laws, too. You got to put them to work. This is why when I was, and I'm not knowing it, when I was reading certain scriptures in the Bible and stuff like that, when I was reading them, and like I was mentioning earlier, how I go out into public and run into somebody, and we just start talking about stuff, and we be like, oh yeah, well it's just like in the Bible when they say this and that, and he be like, yeah man, I was just reading that the other day. All right, kind of make you wonder, is this why the prophet say that some of his best boys are still in church? Because see them, they exercising the laws and not even knowing what the laws is, just in the simplicity form. Y'all not exercising nothing. Everybody blinded by fashion, entertainment, beauty, sports, All the stuff that stays set up, put there for that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going down. That's exactly what's going down. All right. All right. Let's see. Just kind of testing it out, really. Energetic. And now, everybody blinded by fashion, entertainment, beauty, sports, all the stuff that stays set up, put there for that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going down. That's exactly what's going down. Yep. I had to play that, see where I was at, y'all. I see where I was at. Yep, it started. So, yeah. So back to what I was saying, though. There's so much different stuff up in this Bible that you can just read up on and correlate. You just gotta take your time. But a lot of people don't do that, so they're not gonna take their time to look into stuff because they under a spell. Everybody under some type of spell, whether they want to believe it or not. But just like people that's people like for people, and this is in the Bible that for people that want to, for melanated folks who want to still claim Christian, say that they're a Christian or whatever. We can't knock you out because it's a free spirit. It's, esotericness and that type of stuff too. But yeah. So people that got something to say about people like who build altars and meditate and burn sage and who manifest, and people who saying, oh, we don't like people who saying they done change praying with manifesting and this and this and that. I need y'all to understand something. When y'all see people make posts like that, don't get so rattled up about that, because that's somebody that's probably a paid agent to get online, come up with a meme. They making these like I'm talking about, they making money off of fucking memes. Like they using these memes as a plot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people on the internet, they're so social medialized. They treating these memes like Bible scriptures. But y'all ain't never read the Bible, or like y'all ain't never read no scripture a day in your life, even when you was a Christian, and y'all trying to jump into the conscious community because you don't want no order within yourself. I mean, you think because you rock a natural hair and you wear your crystals every day. What's your vibration like when you ain't got them crystals on? You see what I'm saying? Type of stuff. So it's just like those type of things, like people jumping into this movement, but they don't really have no real gift of discernment. They're repeating something that everybody talking about, but and it's good that y'all own it. But what, like, when you, that's why I gotta pay homage to the Moors ancestors, because it's like you understand all this information. How are you stepping with it, with this information? Like, if you putting it in writing, if you putting it in people's faces, you getting this shit published, letting these people know what the deal is. Like, it's you almost got to ask yourself that, like, what are people doing with this stuff? And it's like a lot of people, they jump into this move and they, you know what I'm saying, and they just really jumping into it for the hype of it. Now, shout out to the people who is in the movement. It's a lot of positivity into it too. Shout out to the people who is in the movement and things of that nature. And they making stuff happen. They coming up with natural businesses and selling natural products, selling detox water, selling fruits, whatever you doing, farming, anything, any contribution that you giving. Using your gifts to do consultations, to give spiritual advice. Shout out to the people who even pay for that stuff for them. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes that's why I respect everybody rate of development, because you don't know what point of situation a person is in their lifetime. Like, you have to balance the physical out with the spiritual. You can't be so spiritual and forget about the physical. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those type of things. And and I'm speaking on it to say, because people will say, like, people that's like, you got people that's crossing over and they still don't understand. I try to respect that. People got a rate of development that they have to maintain. It's just like people talk about people who do altars and things like that. And this right here in this Bible, it's saying right here in Ezra, chapter 3, and they set altar upon his bases, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. and they offer burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord or to the universe, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They also kept the Feast of the Tabernacles, as it is written, offer the daily burnt offerings by the numbers according to the custom, as the duty of every day required, and afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons. The new moons. Alright? Now, how are y'all saying people is doing voodoo or we doing black magic, and it say that people was doing this in your Bible, you just didn't understand it. Okay? Both of the new moons and all of the set feasts of the Lord that were consecrated, and one of what is saying, hold on. Both of the new moons and let me see, let me just read it over. And after the continued burnt offering, both of the new moons and all of the set feasts of the Lord that were consecrated, and of every one that willingly offered a free will offering unto the Lord. All right, offerings. From the first day of the seventh month, they began to the burnt offerings unto the Lord, but the foundation of the temple of the Lord was not yet laid. All right, and they gave money to masons and to carpenters, and meat and drink and oil onto them of Zidon and to them of Tyre, to bring cedar trees in Lebanon to the sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus king of Persia. All right, burnt offerings on the altar. They built the altar. Now, how's y'all saying something about that? And it's in the Bible. The Bible got everything in there. These people got this. The people who put this shit together got their information from us, and they took certain books out to cover shit up that they didn't want to get out, so they could study it for themselves. I need y'all to go watch Moon Knight on Disney Plus. Anybody who watched this video, I need you to go check that out. I'm always gonna throw you some shows to go look at. So much Egyptian history or science and that they using for their own fucking selfish greed and good and all that things of those natures. Alright. But anyway, I just wanted to jump into that. Alright. Then I wanted to go over here to the circle 7. I'm getting a little symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. Alright. And I'm just going to read it. The great feast of the Pascha was ended, and the Nazarenes were journeying toward their home. And they were in Samaria, and Mary said, "Where is my son?" No one had seen him, boy. And Joseph saw them among their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, to Galilee, but had seen him not. Then Joseph, Mary, and son of Zebedee returned south throughout Jerusalem, but they could not find him. And Mary asked the guards, had they seen Jesus, a little boy about 12 years old. The guards replied, "Yes, he's in the temple now disputing with the doctors of the law." All right, he was already disputing with the doctors of the law. And they had went in and found him as the guards had said. And Mary said, "Why, Jesus, why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We fear that something great harm had taken you." And Jesus said, "Do you not know that I must be about my Father's work?" But he went around and pressed the hand of every doctor in the law and said, "I trust that we meet again. I trust that we meet again." And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth. And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter. One day, as he was bringing the tools forth from work, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thoughts and we build up character. We use the square to measure our lines, to straighten out the crooked places out of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth, and pound it in until it is a part of every part. We use the plane to smooth the rough, even the surfaces of the joint and block and board that go to build the temple for the truth. The chisel, line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with this trinity of steps: faith, hope, and love. Only we climb up to the dome of purity of light, and on the 12-step ladder we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. All right, for people who they haven't read the Circle 7. All right, building up your spiritual temple, your square, perfecting your ship, your pyramid. All right, all this stuff goes. It's a synonymous. The Bible. You gotta understand the Bible. Alright, we're coming up on chapter 10. Alright, extending the prophecy, extended the empire. Now you sit up here and look at this picture. I'm not saying this is what it is, but you know, we free spilling right now, like we rapping. Alright. I don't know what all that is in the background. I don't know if that's like, I don't know what that is. Woman, the scroll of humanity. Our women lost in the cares of the world, the water, the commerce, the admiralty, the maritime, all that stuff. Okay. And you think about it, they say in chapter 47 of the Quran, how they, the Moors extended the empire over the great Atlantic over to waters, and they settled here in these American islands. Okay. You think about all that. And oh, I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with the cloud and the rainbows upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet was as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth. Alright? And cried out with a loud voice as when the lion roared. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices, and 7 thunders had uttered their voices. I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And now I saw an angel stand upon the sea and upon the earth, lifted his hand up to heaven, and swore by him that lived forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are therein that are, let me see, and the things that therein are in the earth, and the things therein are in the sea, and the things that which there are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he declared to his servants, the prophets. And the voice spoke, let me see, and the voice which I heard spoke, and the voice in which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, or spoke unto me again, and said, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel, which stand upon the sea and upon the earth. So they say he had his left foot, whatever, but it doesn't matter though. You understand what's going on. Alright? Taking you back to the land. You can look at the land as your heritage, your ancient heritage that you got. And you can look at the water as the beach, yeah, that's the Leviathan system, that dragon. You can view it as that. That water represents dragons rise out the water. You don't hear about dragons rising out on the land. They rise out the water. Alright? This is what's going down out here. I just want to speak on that. The prophet was extending the prophecy. This is no draw. You read the Circle 7 Quran, it's connected to the Bible. A lot of stuff is connected to the Bible. Even the Quran talk about certain things that is mentioned in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Just give more of a universal perspective to where any person can understand it with an open heart. The person with an open heart and an open mind can understand it. Alright? And I went on to the angel, said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be what it say, but it shall be in their mouth as sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Alright? And he said unto me, you must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Alright? And there was given to me a reed like a rod, and the angel said, stand, rise, and measure the people of God in the altar, and measure them and worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall tread on the 40 and 42 months, and we shall give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Alright? Now, he just said something about the course of the people. The course of the people is these people, these judges and all that. They know they giving us a breakdown of what's going down because that's sorcery going on in that court system. All right, there's sorcery going on in that court system. And when you talk about people being dead, if a person ain't got no knowledge in their mind of their culture or heritage, and they ain't got the mentality to put this stuff together, right? You gotta sit there and ask yourself, is that why they did? Is that why they like a slaughter waiting to be slain? It's a lot going on out here in this world we in. Like, and people got to get hip to this. They got to get hip to what's going down out here. That's why I'm pulling this stuff up, reading this stuff right now. Let me see. I just wanted to break down how all this stuff correlates tie together because it does. Anybody saying it's not, I mean, you obviously tripping or some insufficiency of knowledge. I spoke on that on my in a video Mother's Day video I did on Mother's Day. I ain't posted on Mother's Day, but I recorded it on Mother's Day. Posted the next day because these videos be long. The divine order of the Asiatic nations. Excuse me, y'all. I'm yawning and dawning. Dropping that the info on y'all heads. The righteous way. Oh, uh, anyway, what it is. But y'all just wanted to speak on that though. All this stuff is connected, man. See in the Bible. Reading out the Bible, jumping in that Bible, just pulling out some free spiritual scriptures. The breath of heaven, meditating. Just okay. The breath of heaven. Let me read this because giving y'all confirmation of what be being said. All right, we're in the circle 7. We're in chapter 37, if I'm not mistaken. That's what that says. All right. All the instructions from the prophet. The breath of heaven. Vaunt not thy body because it was formed. It was first formed. Nor of thy brain because therein the soul resideth. Is not the master of the house more honorable than his walls? The ground must be prepared before the corn can be planted. The potter must build his furnace before he can make his porcelain. As the breath of heaven said unto the waters of the deep, this way shall the billows roll, and no other thus high, and no higher shall they raise their fury. So let thy spirit, O man, actuate and direct thy flesh. So it represses wilderness. So it represses wilderness, it's wilderness. When you say wilderness, you pretty much saying maintaining self-control. All right. Thy body is a globe of the earth. Thy bones, the pillars that sustain it, is on its basis. As the ocean give rise to the springs, whose water return again to its bosom. Through the rivers, so run thy life from thy outwards, and so runneth into his place again. Do not both retain their course forever? Behold, the same Allah ordained them. Is not the nose the channel to perfumes, the mouth the path to delicacies, and not thine eyes, or not thine eyes the sentinels that watch for thee? Yet how are they unable to distinguish truth from error? Okay? Keep thy soul in moderation, teach thy spirit to be attentive to his good. So shall these his ministers be always to the conveyances of truth. Thine hand, is it not a miracle? Is there any creation aught like unto it? Wherefore was it given thee, but that you might stretch it out to the assistance of thy brother, while of all things living of you alone made capable of blushing. The world shall read thy shame upon thy face, therefore do nothing shameful. Fear and dismay, fear and dismay which rise thy countenance of his ruddy splendor, avoid guilt, and you shall know that fear is beneath thee, that dismay is unnamely. Wherefore to thee alone speak shadows in the vision of the pillow. Wherefore to thee alone speaks to the shadows and the vision of the pillow. Reverence, let me see. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high. Thou man alone can't speak. Wonder at thy glorious prerogative, and pay to him who gave it to thee in rational and welcome praise, teaching thy children wisdom and instructing the offsprings of his loins of penance. Alright. It's funny that it said that the bread, I'm gonna say when it said thy brain, because there was the soul relied. When it say soul, I say spirit, but you got your emotion about it, or whatever the case may be. But all this stuff right here, all this stuff is synonymous. You got these different cultures and religions telling you synonymous things, lead you back within yourself. Alright? And all this stuff is similar. It's all connected in some way or some form of fashion. And that's why I jumped into this topic today. Because, it's a lot of people they quick to bash the Bible. It's like you didn't even, a lot of people, they just running from discipline out here. Alright? And that's what's going on. But everybody got different rates of development. And that's what I started off on this video talking about. And as I got to looking into this information, as I'm saying, as I got to looking into this information, like I said, I was in this Bible phase. I went through the Hebrew Israelite phase. I came across the Morris information about late 2015, probably crossing over into 2016. That's when I got into the Morris science information and things of that nature. That's what I got to read into, and that's how they came together. What's going on, my guy? Okay, I'm a Google. It's cool. My my whatchamacallit. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, my can't move right now because my field line jumped out. I said I can't move right now. My field line had jumped out. I'm over here. Yeah. I'm waiting to get everything together so I can, get everything right, get back moving. But Google, I mean, you still pull up. I can tell you where I'm at. I'm on Stagecoach in Little Rock, right off the freeway at the gas station on the side. Google Casey's on Stagecoach, and it's gonna pop up and put it in the GPS. Bet. Okay. All right, y'all. Excuse me, I have to take a call, but yeah. This is like I said. This is Everybody got their own rate of development. Like I said, I came into this stuff. I got deep into this stuff. I got into more information by 2015, like early 2016 is when it really got deep. Uh, the first video that had broke me in, and this is why I was gotta pay my respects to people, who came before and brought forth certain information. Because, this is my life path. This stuff is in my natal chart. This is my destiny. This is a blessing for the universe to, lead me to the information. I low key prayed for this. I asked the cosmos, I said, take me as far as I can go with this knowledge and information and wisdom. They give me the heart to discern and give me the heart to apply it. Take me as far as I can go that I won't even imagine. with this knowledge and information. I prayed about this like in like 2015, 14. I prayed for it, and look, this where I'm at now. You know, I didn't pray for no material shit. I prayed for more knowledge, more information, what I need to know. What is it that you want me to know without no limit that I can study and go deep into? And that's how I came into this. But one of the first videos, and this is in my development, one of the first videos that I watched, well, before I get into that, one of the questions I asked myself about God when I was in that state of mind, I said, God got to be an extraterrestrial or something. Something, and it was just like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, I said that, I said, God got to be some type of extraterrestrial or something. Because it's like, you sit up here, you get to thinking about giants. If you read the book of Enoch, it's talking about fallen angels. But, you know, fallen angels could just necessarily mean some beings that fell from another planet. Because when you in your planet, when you in your home, your paradigm, that is your state of heaven. You know what I'm saying? But you get to reading about this stuff, and you get to coming across scriptures in the Bible when he's saying things to a nature like to where what did he say? And to this being, I was as a grasshopper. Now if it's a being and you're a grasshopper to this being, they let you know it has to be a gigantic being. And it's stuff like that in the Bible. And I got the question in there. And I'm like, okay, alright. So this what made me go, get into what I got into. I'm like, bro, God gotta be more than what they telling us. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking on some external shit. Like the average person. Like, man, God gotta be something more than what they telling us, bro. It gotta be something more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be something more to it than that. And when you coming across a path, I'm gonna tell y'all, you will come across people that'll help you wake up on a certain scene, or kind of like on some like a video game, like bumper cars. They'll bump you up to a next level. But some people, they even bump you up, you even surpass them like times a trillion. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, right here. I'm gonna see what that say. Verse 31. It's not telling me that. But so I'm like, man, what is it? Like, what is it about it? And so, and then I came to this conclusion. Something popped up in my head. At this point, the universe was sending me signals. All right, it was sending me signals. And then I came to this conclusion that the devil was black. Numbers 13. And I'm like, damn. So I'm like, what is it? Like, what's going on? Cause I was in Silver City. I was in Silver City, and I had a situation. What's going on? No, 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 no. Hold on, hold on. No thanks. So as I'm questioning this, I'm like, okay, damn. Some came to me, like I said, I'm like, okay, the devil black guy got to be. Then I'm finna tell you, I ain't gonna play it. I'm just gonna pull it up. I'm gonna tell you what video popped up. A video by Dr. Malachi Z. York came up. I don't know how it came up. I was just looking at something. I was looking at something. Think by Dr. Delbert Blair. I was just looking. I forgot who I was looking at. And I came across this video. The name of the video was pretty much called, and that's why I said I'm finna tap back into this. The name of the video, see, talking about Inky, Enlil, Nurgle, all that stuff. These people know it's truth in that. The Ascended Masters, Earth is a prison. Definitely gonna, but it was a video that Dr. Malachi York had called In the Beginning. And he was so detailed with it. He was so detailed with these pics and stuff. He was so detailed with it that it's almost like you couldn't deny it. Look out, bro. Yeah, right here. It's the one. Hello? Yo. People be acting crazy and shit. You be calling folks, they call you back a day late. People be out here tripping. But this is the first video. When was the real beginning and when did it take place? This is the first. This is a video I stumbled across. And when I stumbled across this video, I got to watching a few more other videos. I think I was I don't know where I was. But I got to stumble into sleep. You know, I got to go on to sleep. You know, you get so much information, you put so much information into your brain, you get to falling asleep. You know what I'm saying? Cause you putting that light information into your mental. So at this point, this video I watched this video coming across this video right here. Let me see. This video right here, the big head scientist, the story of Yakub and Yashmal, about them beings that's on the left of this picture, and then these beings over here. It might blow y'all mind, it might be a little heavy, and it might be a little too deep. It's cool for people who might see this video and ain't got no information on it. It's fine, but I'm just speaking on my rate of development of what took me up over the edge, like to the next level of information. I watched that video, and I'm like, okay. So I watched it. It threw me for a loop. When you do things of that nature, and you read things and stuff like that, it activates something in you, in your bloodline. This is why it's important. This is why people say it's important for you to read the literature, because it's gonna activate certain brain cells, ideas, thoughts, like on some Osiris stuff. It's gonna vegetate new thoughts. You see what I'm saying? And you're gonna start to get a certain understanding. And that's how you get to activating. And you get to tapping into your Akashic records, and you get to finding out who you is. So I watched that video, and I bullshit y'all not. The next day I was walking. I was standing off Little Rock around this time, but I think I watched the video like at the library or something. I'm staying in Silver City. I was walking, and I seen the fucking cloud in the sky. It was like a person. Imagine this picture like turned to the side, and you seen it from a side view, just one side. It's like I seen the cloud.
Visit onelayauto.com for high quality
They
auto
kill
parts
me with these goddamn ads, man. You
and
can't live
thousands of
without these
how-to
ads on
videos
these
so you can
damn.
learn to do it yourself.
When you get on YouTube, you gotta play the ad. You gotta play the ad. Okay. Okay. Dismiss. Internet trying to act crazy. Okay. Now this is just a depiction. But you know, you think about that movie that they got called the Coneheads. They put shit in your face. You see they dressed in all white on some spiritual stuff. They got gold sashes around their neck. Things of that nature. They got these reptilian like ears. Or whatever the case. You see some they got different variations of them. But I seen a cloud that looked like one of these particular beings. Like from the side view of them though. The next day I bullshit y'all now. You gotta believe me. I know what the fuck I saw. I seen a picture of these motherfucking clouds looking like one of them, like just the head of him, turn with the shoulders and all that turned to the side. I swear to God, no, to the universe, whatever, however you want to say it. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. When I seen it, I said there's some truth in it. I don't give a fuck what nobody's saying. We can get into it right now. On me, we can. We can. There's some truth in it. Cause why the fuck would I see that the next day after I watched that video? Why would I see that in the sky the next day? It was in the sky. I had a vision of this pandemic and this chaos with, people getting vaccines, chips or whatever. I had a vision of this by 2013, 2012, I think, 2013. Had my first and only apartment. I had a vision of this stuff. But what sparked it? Because I seen this little light dimming in the sky. It was a glow in the sky. A certain part of the sky. I was walking up Old Forge Road near Rodney Prime. It was a fucking a light in the sky, dimming. Like it wasn't dimming, but it was glowing. It had this glow like on some Dragon Ball Z. How them Dragon Balls get the glowing when you put out 7, but it wasn't that specifically like shaped like that. But that's how that light was glowing. And that light seemed like it happened. It seemed like it caught my attention for a reason, and it did. And the light, when I was sitting here thinking about it now, in the direction as I was walking, because I'm already in the west, and it was in the east. The light was glowing like in the north, kind of direction I was walking. And then the next day I had a vision or a dream about people running around, hollering, screaming. I was in my apartment, or I was outside my apartment. That was the setting of the dream. It was just like that because that's where my body was at, but I was really somewhere else. Really like I was in the future, low key. Like I was like in this time point now, and didn't even really realize how deep it was. But seeing people running around, yelling, screaming, just it was chaotic, chaos. It was chaos. All right. And it's like I put my hand out straight forward, and it's like somebody it's like I kind of grabbed somebody in my hand, but how it was like some video game shit. It's kind of like I put my hand down, like I pressed the button when a person got in the circle of it or something, and it's like boom, they grabbed into me. It's like when I hit the button or something, they was just in my hand. I was holding, and I grabbed them on some because I was trying to pull them to the side out the chaos. And I asked him like, hey, what's going on? He was like, yeah, man, they trying to do this. They trying to make me put a chip in my baby and whoop de woo, whoop de woo. Man, I ain't going for that shit. And I woke up. Now, mind y'all, my little sister staying with me at this point of time. I don't never wake up early in the morning unless she in my room coming because the bathroom and sink was in my room. She was coming into my room to, use the sink and shit to get prepared for work. When I woke up, she was still asleep. It was early in the morning. And when I say I normally don't get up to like 7:30, 7:40 something, because she up in my room moving around, got the water running, you know what I'm saying, getting up, whatever. That was how the apartment was set up. Really a bullshit ass apartment. But anyway, I woke up. It was 6:40 something in the morning. I woke up. When I woke up, I immediately knew that that light that I seen in the sky had something to do with that dream that I had. And it's in this time frame. What is it, 2022 now? That was about 8 years ago. Technically 9 on the cool, because it was the beginning of 2013. It was early, the top of the year, and we about midway in the year. So 2013 to 14, it's a year. 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 17, 18, 19, 19, 20. Yeah. So yeah, it was about 9 years ago when I had that vision, and this is the time we at now. I'm in my early 20s, and at that point, as I said, I was dealing with somebody too, and at that point, it was almost like, at that point in time, it was more, it seemed, that's when it, how can I say it? At that point in time, that's when stuff went over the edge, like spiritually for me. In that point in time, when all that stuff was going on, uh, I even had the situation where motherfucker had slipped this certain drug on me, Sherm or angel dust, whatever you want to call it. People had little shit to say once I got well and shit. But I had this situation. Some motherfucker drug me, had me tripping. I ain't gonna just get so deep into it, but I had a few episodes, and I had so many episodes within a week that I ended up getting admitted to a psych ward. Alright, those days that I was going through was very dark. It was some dark days, because it's like I be normal talking like I am to y'all now, and then on the same token, it's like I don't know how to really explain it, man. But it's to how I want to break it down. I was going through like some type of hypnosis, but it's like I was going through these stages in my mind. It's like I'd be sitting somewhere, and it's like I was seeing things from past lives or something. I was like I was traveling in the cosmos. Like no bullshit. This real life, real. This is a real situation. It's like my brain was wide open. It was kind of like I was using a bigger percentage of my brain. It's almost like I was dead, like Walking Dead on some Egyptian shit. But in some form of fashion, when I mention this, talk to somebody about this, and I tell them the situation, they told me that I brought back a part of myself. So it's almost like I got casted into the universe to pull back a certain gift, or I don't really know, but it was deep. It was a deep situation. It was deep as hell. And I was inside the psych ward. I was having episodes. I was fighting it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like what was going on. I didn't like the energy I had, or none of that. Like, I didn't like what was going down. So it's like, okay, all right, I'm in the psych ward. I'm fighting. It'd be nice. I'm fighting with myself. I try to lay down, be normal, same shit happen. I'm rehabilitating myself. I'm doing push-ups. I'm reading books. Oh, they coming in there teaching us how to meditate. It's like all this shit was set up like they was staging this shit, like the universe staged this shit. Like my mind went to a different type of level. Like I had to be reevaluated. And they treated us real well in there. They treated us real well in there. But when I was in that state of mind, because you know, like this time they had me caged to the bed because I was tripping. And these people know. It's like these doctors subconsciously know. I don't want to go so deep into it, but these doctors know when people losing their mind and they not really so tapped in. They can tell. And so look out now. What's going on? Man, it's tight right now, man. My gas line popped out, man. I'm trying to get shit together right now so I can get back rolling. Yeah, so it probably I will, but it'll probably be later today. Like I'm gonna try to catch it today, but that's what I got going on though. It's tight right now because everything that's gonna come to me, I'm gonna have to use it to get back moving. So I hit you when I get moving and some stuff come through. All right, they had me caged. They had me caged to the bed, and it's like when I was caged, it's like mentally I was like it was like my flesh, like they had to trap my flesh, but my mind was still. It's kind and it was in a situation kind of like where I was looking at myself from within myself, and I'm looking at how I'm acting, and it was just all type of stuff like, you know, I was thinking about certain temptations and certain things and shit of that nature, and it's like your flesh, it's like my flesh was, I don't know how to explain it, because I had just went through a spiritual awakening, man, like some weeks before that, like in church type shit, like, you know, I don't know what they did, but they did something, and it was so deep that I was so deep in with that energy that, you know, people say, like, you know, you know, they had to help me. Like I went through like a revival, and people were saying they seen blood coming out my eyes, my nose, my ears, my mouth. It was that deep on some spiritual stuff, like on the spiritual eye. You know what I'm saying? That shit was deep. I had just went through that shit a week or so before that, and then like a little while later after that, I uh I get drugged. And I felt convicted. I was telling people, look, I don't want to be around no bullshit no more. I felt convicted. It was crazy. I went through a crazy ass state. I was like my chakras and shit was opening up. I don't know what I activated, but I activated something. Hey, for a minute, what's going on? Something came up. Okay, okay, handle your business, bro. Handle your business. It's good. Just call me. Just hit handle your business. When like it's I'm just probably so I some came through. I'm gonna hit you because some probably just came through for me. I'm gonna get back with you. But long story short, I'm going through this stuff and I'm feeling like spiritually convicted and stuff like that of certain things I was involved in, and then this stuff happened. But like, back to the psych ward, I was battling within myself, and when the doctor came and evaluated me, she was asking me stuff, and it's like I was asking questions and I was answering them on some polarity, split personality stuff. It's almost like really what I went through. I had really gave birth to. I'm gonna get that shit figured out, but it's almost like I gave birth to my ancient self or something in a certain way. It was a crazy time because I'm sitting up here thinking about the esotericness of what was going on with me. It's like almost like I gave birth to a part of my old self, and it split my consciousness and it opened it up a certain type of way. I can't explain it. But long story short, you know, I ended up rehabilitating. You know, they feed you good in there. You get breakfast, lunch, dinner. You get snack time. You get to read books. You got this nice little room that they got up in there where they got you admitted into. You got a bed. You got a thing, a whole little pod thing inside the room. It looks like a shower. Has a toilet. It's all that. You got the nightstand. You got a table. You had all that little stuff inside the psych ward. And that's the phase I went through. So I'm up in here, I'm rehabilitating myself, getting myself right, reading. And it's like I was hearing these voices, like a legion of voices in my head. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. So, I'm fighting it. I'm busting out the room 2, 3 in the morning, and the people that's in there that's watching over. That was like, you are. She was like, you are so strong. She was like, you just keep fighting it. I don't know what it is, but you're constantly fighting it. You know, like I said, that was a woman that came, taught us how to meditate, breathe, trying to teach us how to use our imagination. It was some extraterrestrial shit going on, because it's like a lot of stuff that was going on. There was other people there, and they could have, them people that I was around, the people that I was connecting with, could have been certain enlightened beings. I met people in there that read books. I met people up in there that just check themselves into the psychiatric world, because they feel like maybe life had a lot going on and it was weighing in on them, and they needed to get away. Like I was meeting all these great minds and stuff. Like, I don't knock that situation that happened, because whatever it happened is for the greater good, and you know what I'm saying. And it brought me to where I'm at today. But I was meeting people up here with great minds, and you just see certain stuff. You meet people with different personalities that scattered out. Some people were strung out on drugs, and like I say, some people was regular, just check themselves into, into the place. And I made it through it. I was in there. They checked me in like late Saturday night, so Sunday morning, and for the most part, they was coming to see me. I was ready to go. I almost feel like I was being held hostage, and it was irritating me. But it's kind of like my patience was being tested. It's kind of like I was going through these adept chambers, or like these Masonic stages or something, like these different hypnosises or something like that. Can't really deeply explain it. Can't deeply explain it, but that's what was going on. It was that all that happened for a reason. Like, at that point in time, my mind elevated to a different level. When all that stuff transpired with me finding all that out in that whole situation. All right, and I got to elevating. So in the midst of that, I ended up back around my guy Auntie, my Aunt Wanna, and I got to stand with them. And my cousin Trill was there. Then my god cousin Lil Wayne was there. He's an Aquarius. It was fun, and I'm gonna tell y'all about this, cause I got Aquarius moon sign. It's all gonna make sense. And so I'm back to normal. After all that, people ask me. Of course, you had people ask you what happened, and they heard this. All that transpire. Uh, I'm back. I say I'm back well. Ain't no more tripping. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm there. And it's like I had these phases where I was sober, but when I smoke, it's like I was scared to smoke with certain people. But it's like I was coming across these people. The people, I can't. It was deep. It's almost like it was this group of people that came around, and when I think about it, they probably was on that same drug. So I was like in a spiritual battle. It's like the devil to send his minions in or whatever, send his foot soldiers, to test you. It's just like in the Bible, like in Job. You know what I'm saying? When he's trying to test them. That's kind of the situation I had. I had that type of situation. So I made it through all that, man. Safe to say, I made it through all that. I got my mind right, got my mental right. I back around my auntie, I'm working. Then I started talking to my god cousin one day. He was watching a video, and he was watching something about ancient Egypt. And he was saying something, Boy, this shit get deep. What was I saying? Video came across. It was pretty much talking about the ancient Egyptians and stuff. And it was really around that time when I got to studying the holy tablets and stuff like that. And he was pretty much saying he was watching something and it was saying that we are pretty much the Illuminati too, and talking about our culture and everything. We originated everything. And so that's when I went off into the deep end. And I had my people around me that my fans, certain God family members that they didn't expose all that, because I had already went through that phase, and I had to get my mind together. And when you just in a bad state of mind, somebody get to talking like in a pure energetic tone, it'll break you down when you've been lost and stuff like that. Because it wasn't that I was lost, but it's like I was letting the information that I was on go to my ego. Because all that shit, that Illuminati, all that shit will run you crazy when you just look so deep into their stuff. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, what I'm getting at is I got to looking deep into it. Even after I got to distancing myself from people, because people got a way of talking you down back into a spell when they sleep because they in fear. You don't know it then, but it's like if you still looked into the information and it still helped you develop a certain way, then it's like it was destiny. Like ain't nobody stop that. And that's what I kind of had went through. And in that moment, this is about what I say. I said 2015. I'm working at rallies, as a matter of fact. That's 2016. Now all this stuff crossed over in like 2016. 2016 was a critical year for me. It was a lot of. It was like a 2016 was a heavy spiritual year. I don't know what it was about 2016. It was 2 + 0 + 1 + 6 = 9. That 9 infinity. But it was something about 2016 that was a key year for me when I had my awakening. It was a key year. And I was working in rallies, and I still was in and out of Silver City and things of that nature. And had a situation where I had to kind of relocate. I ain't gonna speak too deep into it. It's personal. Um, somebody tried to pretty much set some dark energy my way, whatever, and it didn't work. But long story short, 2016 hit. I'm working at rallies. I think I ended up quitting rallies, and I don't know if I worked for a minute. 2016. This is when life got good. In 2016, this is when I started getting into the Morris information. I was working a job doing people ready. Shout out to AmaroCon, man. Go by Greg. I just like to call all my Moors by their spiritual titles and stuff. We nobles, man. You know what I'm saying? We work for it. Y'all know what we've been through. You know what I'm saying, G? But I met my man AmaroCon. I was doing. I started working. I ended up branching off. I started working and stuff. Working with people ready, this temp service. When I found that temp service, it was over with for me keeping a regular job. Cause like if they keeping me busy as long, or keep giving me hours like a regular job, give me 40 hours a week, I don't really need no real job. I'm managing my money right. But I ran across Greg. We was doing this job. I was staying with my guy, brother. All this stuff around 2016. I had to put it into perspective. It's like I was going through a dark phase, and then I came out into it. Like I went. It was like I was on the dark square, and then the chess piece moved to a light square. I'm back working. I found this temp service job. 2015, I was doing temp work too in North Little Rock. That's how I was. That's how all that stuff came about. It just came back to me. 2015, I was doing temp work with a temp service called Hancock Staffing. I got so tired of them for so long. I think I was with Hancock probably 2014. I don't know, but I was working with them 2015. I crossed over to People Ready about June 2016. Now, in between June and the top of that year, I went through a lot of situations, moving from here and there. Just a lot of personal situations where I was going through tests, seeing how my faith was. Um, I had lost somebody to the system that year due to some bullshit in the, in them demonic streets. Them streets are satanic and demonic, and it was just a lot going on in the midst of all that. So I'm working at People Red at this temp service, and I run into my guy Mario Khan. We working this little 5 little job with this freezer. We chopping it up. He was putting me up on the more science. I done worked a few jobs with him. He pointed me to this site right here, RV Bay. And I thank Mario Khan. He was the first person. He was Leo. First person. First person that led me to this information. And I got to get on my, internet more shit and whatever and all that stuff. All that shit be a fucking mess. Just being on the internet going back and forth. All that dialogue. People talking about this shit. They talking about this information. Talking about hotel. Talking about the Anunnaki. Just talking about a lot of different stuff. And they haven't even really did their own research, and they even sat down and looked and deeply into stuff because they want to be seen about this stuff and they want to be caught up in the hype. Or you got women out here faking like they conscious, really trying to attract men, really looking for trying to wife a man on some weird shit. Trying to trap them. Really out here, they still got them Jezebel energies. They still have the Jezebel energy, but they trying to act like because they rocking afros and they rocking unks and all that type of shit that they spiritual. Same thing with these brothers. They using this information to attract women. Oh yeah, women. Well, yeah. Oh, I am. This and that and ancient Kemet and grand risings and all that stuff or whatever. But they using this stuff to like get women. Like they not really thoroughly studying and sacrificing, not hanging around, not having sex. They not doing that. I had so many periods of time where I went through all that, and I'm seeing why I went through that. I had periods of time where I had to retain my semen and shit like that, and I was going through a lot of heavy studying and researching, and I'm seeing why it mysteriously went like that. You know what I'm saying? I was being led by the Spirit, by the Holy Force. I mean, the Holy Spirit, the Force of the cosmos. But anyway, people wasn't hip with this stuff, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Um, and I started getting into this information. I stopped hanging around so many different people, things of that nature. Sacrifice, I wasn't going out, none of that. I ran across this website. When I ran across this website, that's where all my Moorish, all this stuff started right here. I was doing the job, bro was talking to me, Amar Khan, put me up on stuff. He was telling me don't even get involved with those temple Moors. And I had a little phase of degree when I was interacting with, somebody with a certain individual who claimed to have a more science temple. But as years went by and I did my information, did my own personal research, I noticed that that person had a lot of back funk in a lot of different situations. Uh, Anybody that might watch this video will know who I'm talking about. Um, Met a lot of different people, and that's where it started, right there. That's when my journey started. From the holy tablets, it was like a crossover, like I was going up a pyramid, and that's how it came about. That's how my crossover came about into this information. It went just like in them little steps from the church phase, going to church, going to revivals, they speaking that word, and that's why I say even in that phase, it's all alchemy, mental alchemy, because you're going from one phase, this phase converting you to this phase, and it's elevating you. You know what I'm saying? So that was my situation. And I got on RV Bay. I got to read. I was still in Silver City. That's how the Dr. Hindu Henderson shit came about. I spoke on this in my first video. But like I said, I'm just speaking on my lineage of, like, my line of development, and how I developed into this information, into this movement. There was a sister came out to Silver City because she had another sister that stayed out there. and I used to interact with her. And she came up there asking like, which one of y'all know about this? And I was like, hey, me. You know, we got to interacting, chopping it up, going around, hanging out. So now I was staying with my god brother Chris over there by Central High School. Shout out to Chris, my guy Chris Torrance, man. He when I was staying in that house, his mama left in that house. That's when I got deep into my spirituality. That's when I had the time to really experiment. Um, I could meditate. Had a room, big room to myself. I could meditate. I can start experimenting with my vegan food. 2016 is the year I met my lady friend Marla. She, initiated me into some little magic type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. Talking to me about it. I was already eating healthy, meditating, things of that nature. My frequency was going up. I was sun gazing, grounding my feet in the ground. Dealing with sage, burning sage, all them type of things, man. Like that's what I had going. And I ain't reading this, y'all. I'm just kind of just playing with the screen and stuff like that while I'm. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going chopping it up with her. We end up going down here. We find this process because everybody go through this phase of their development where you just interact, where you on the internet with this information and stuff like that. And there was this brother named Dr. Andrew Henderson. He he came with this little bogus little had this they pretty much had a little bullshit operation going trying to put people back in slavery. Um Talking about a lot of different stuff. Long story short, he was a fraud. We exposed the fraud, we exposed him. Talking about he had a 501c4, he had the Lamb's Book of Life, had this book made of lamb skin. Really had some real draconic shit going on when I sit up here and think about it. And that's what was going on. So with all that being said, we got to seeing, we went down there, we had a trip, he had a lecture. When I came, it's like he had his face off. It's crazy. It's like all this shit was divinely prepared in order. Like all these phases I went through, the people I met, the beings I ran across, things of that nature. I ran into all this type of stuff, and I fell victim to something to expose it. It's almost like I have to test my gift for knowledge or something. And like I said, he talking about he had so many trillions of dollars in trust, like he was gonna change our life and put us into the book of life and things like that. When really that shit there was a situation to put people back in slavery, because I heard people had lost houses and shit behind this guy. Alright? People lost houses and shit behind this guy scamming. Him and his lady Shelly Bowling. I fell victim to that shit. But I did it just to expose it. Because I was doing reading up on RV Bay. Shout out to Amarcon once again. Gotta keep shouting him out because he was one of those one of the first few people that told me to check this website out. I said this right here is an online university. Well, I was talking on the phone with a brother named Robert Nehemiah. He was down at the lecture. We went down there. We was linking with him. He was chopping it up with this lady I went. She was on, come to find out, she was on some bullshit or whatever the case may be. We had a little situation going or whatever, but it's all cool though because it's like we had bumped our heads, but it was all a misunderstanding. And we was reading some. I was reading up on RV Bay right here, and it was pretty much saying something about why we are not to do business with no 501c corporation. That's how I know that he had some bullshit. First thing came to my head was like, damn. He said, oh, I'm stretching, y'all. He said he had 50C4, 501c4, and I'm like, okay, what's that? So like, we exposed that situation for what it was later on down the line. I talk about it in my video, or in my first video that I did, 720 Degrees of Overstanding Part 1. And that's all it was. So I went through all those different phases. I said all that to say I went through all those different phases just to get to this point. Every point of life, you have a certain stage of development. And you get to reading this information, you get to looking into it, you stay deep into it, you stay steadfast on it. And you realize that I ain't need to get back into this. You kind of realize that all this stuff is divinely planned out. And that's why I speak so much about the astrology. It's so important, it's so important, it's so important. If you don't think that damn astrology is important, you crazy. Like it is. It's highly important. And I got into that very, very heavy, like about the same time, about 2017, 2018. I got to take it deep. 2016, I was on it because I met my friend Marla, and I was reading her natal chart, and she was like, "Yeah, you need to pursue that. Like, yeah, you need to pursue that." So, yeah, that's how you got shoot no time. Sorry, y'all line ill or y'all line Jones ill or whatever. I spent so many years studying the spiritual, esoteric side of the information, but then, like 2019, really like 2020, about the end of 2020 or the middle of 2020 is when I got to taking the lawful side more serious. 2021, I was finding out a lot of stuff. Um, I found out about the process, the 11-step process from Brother Obashango L. Shout out to him, man. I found out about that. And life went from there. That's how I got to where I'm at now. I got deep into it. I went through all the temple phases. The temple got to breaking up. People got to leave them because it was just a lot going on with that. Because you got people out here, they try to start, they get out here with this information and they try to put people up under them or try to start a little movement or get a little following or get something going or whatever. But they done been molested by so many different groups and organizations and things like that, trying to seek out so much knowledge, having this power, lust for knowledge, and not even setting a good example in your daily life. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what the deal was. That's what was going on, and everything split. This brother left, this brother left, this brother left. Situation happened. I ain't gonna get so deep into it, but I went through a lot of phases. I say all that to say I went through a lot of phases to get through this. You know what I'm saying? I started off with more. A lot of them not here now. Cause like I say, people, and you even then you had people that was like they had your best interest, but they, you got people coming. You got the knowing who preying on the unknowing, trying to sell your process, trying to hustle you out of some things of that nature, stuff that you can do for yourself, and it's real out here. And that's why I thank the chief, man, cause I ain't pursue the 11-step process. Like I said, it was a lot of brothers I was around that was trying to pursue the information too. But they had some shit going where everybody who came up with the process, they went to go see what it was about it. Put themselves out there, and they tried to get into it with everybody who had something going. It seemed like the egotistical shit, and it's like, bruh, how you gonna honor somebody's process and then sit right there and turn around and go against them. So when I seen all that madness in it, I fell back for a little minute, and I got back on my physical shit, going back to work, uh, all that type of stuff. I ain't get back into it for a minute, and I had to let the shit digest. I got to watching videos a little bit. Around that time, I was watching like a Sierra Duke Tears. Cause I still watch my videos and shit. I watch Taj Tariq Bay. Couldn't wait to get on there to see him. So I'm taking notes, all that. I got notes, everything that I can show. But this what I had going. Yeah. Look up to now, I'm well seasoned now. And I say all that to say, this shit ain't, you not gonna jump up in this shit fast unless you already had your own interest in it a while ago and you were just reading about it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break down, simplify what certain stuff is, why it's important to do this, why it's important to do that, why it's important to cut that short. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason for that. With that all being said, you got to be the turtle in this race. Or you got to be the snail. You can't move too fast. Like, you got to try to stay smooth and swift, man, because it's a lot going on out here, and you got a lot of people out here that's energy vultures. You know what I'm saying? They energy vultures out here. They wanna appear. They want somebody to follow behind them, man. But you know, people ain't got the right noble character out here. So, yeah, that's what this video was just really about. I'm just speaking on my rate of development, my personal rate of development. You know what I'm saying? And this stuff get real deep when you look into this information. You gotta know that. All right. Just like in this scripture right here, I wanted to mention this. Because you know, a lot of people they talk about the Anunnaki, but they don't really jump deep into it. Really, they really just going out what somebody else say. They watching a few videos, what somebody else talking about. But you don't hear too many people reading out the holy tablets and stuff. And you got a lot of other things out there that you can read, but this is the Bible. It's a certain way where you can realize and look like, okay, in this certain point of time right here in this book, they was talking about this. This what really happened right here. And it said there also we saw the Nephilim. The sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim. And we became like grasshoppers in our own sight. And so we were in their sight. They let you know if somebody's like a grasshopper, that was some gigantic motherfuckers on this planet. And it's like scripture like that you gotta read to have some common sense. He who sits above the circle of the earth. They talking about the firmament, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Well, that's a deep scripture right there. That's a real damn deep scripture. Just that one right there. And we became like grasshoppers in our own sights, and so we were in their sight. These people could literally step on them. But let's see, chapter 13, verse 33. They want to show our love. But anyway, I'm going to close this video out, man. I just wanted to screen share some, put y'all up on the some a little bit. We need to jump in this Bible. We done for that for today. Yep, we can close it out. Peace, love, and light, man. I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. Um, y'all have a grand day. Stay grounded in the midst of this retrograde. Please stay grounded in the midst of this retrograde because the energy's still here. It's a lot going on. And I want y'all to keep y'all minds open and keep y'all minds focused and don't let nothing get to y'all. Stay away from people who not on your vibration. If they're not on your vibration, don't interact with them. And that's just how they go, you know. So yeah, y'all have a grand day. Y'all have a grand afternoon, though. Have a grand evening. Peace, love, and light to y'all.